Energized show, up the Irish.
Okay, what's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of Energized. Ross, introduce the guest, man.
Today, the TAC is back. It's Taka Mhandu, straight out Team KF, fighting over in EFC next weekend, the 6th of November. Taka, how you doing, man?
I'm very good, lads. How are you?
Good, man. Can't complain. Better after Sunday, you know. We'll forget about that.
I'd say that was quite heartbreaking to you. Like I never expected a 5-0 finish, to be honest with you. Like that's pretty insane. Like even with Ronaldo, we still lost 5-0. So I feel for you.
Baz after 15 minutes, once it went 2-0 Liverpool, like the game was over. So like after that, it was just like, you know, what they call it. You're trying to limit the damage, but they didn't do a good job of that either. So it is what it is.
Nah. Yeah. Thank God we covered that part already. That's out of the show. On today's show, obviously we have Taka, so we're gonna be promoting Taka's fight. He's fighting next week on EFC 90, and then we're going to be going into this weekend's UFC 267. UFC is back. It's on Fight On. We can't wait. So like Taka, your fight was announced last week. It was broken by the one and only Ian O'Neill. Shout out Ian O'Neill, Ross.
Yeah, shout out Eno.
Yeah, Taka, tell us all about it, bud.
Yeah, so I'm back fighting the 6th of November on EFC 90. So this is going to be my second fight my second professional fight, and also my second fight with the promotion. And Hwande is 1-0. She seems pretty solid, pretty dynamic striker. But it's going to be a lot smaller than my last opponent. I think my last opponent was actually bigger than me for the first time ever.
I thought so. We were saying you were on the one to watch last time, and we were asking if you ever fought someone taller than you, and then like that's what happened.
Yeah, no, because Chris was like, oh, he's not that big, and I was seeing him, was like, he's pretty big, like he's huge, and then yeah, and the funny thing is like, it's like even with the cut and stuff like that, like I was so light that I didn't actually put back on that much weight for the last one, so like I was pretty light, and I looked at me and I was looking at myself, I was like, this guy's bigger than me. I was like, what's going on here? But obviously, like I kind of adjusted well to it and dealt with it, but it is what it is. I got to win, so on to the next one now.
That's what you went there for.
Yeah, Taka. Exactly. One thing I want to touch on, I don't know if you saw it recently, but we had Jake Hadley on there. He was former EFC flyweight champion. Does that give you great confidence seeing that someone was an EFC champion and has now made it to the UFC? Obviously, Dricus du Plessis is there as well. That door is open from EFC.
Absolutely, like you know, EFC is one of the biggest promotions in the world, and like one of the most well known, and also the biggest one on the African continent. Like so, like just seeing the likes of Dricus du Plessis and Jake Hardy get moving on and going to UFC just gives me even more motivation and even more drive to kind of get that belt and kind of cement myself as a champion in the promotion, because obviously like it is a proven pathway to UFC now because so many guys are getting on. So it's definitely good to be on such a big show, and not having to work my way to the big show to get to the big show again, if you get me. So it's kind of good to kind of have my foot in the door and have the contract for multi-fight, for the multi-fight contract with them, just to kind of like just to know I have a path and I have like a road to the UFC with them.
Yeah, go on, Baz.
You're definitely one of the biggest stars they have now on the roster, like one of the building stars as well.
Yeah, definitely. And another point on that is you do have a multiple fight contract there. How many fights would you like to have there before you fight for a title? I know some people might say, you know, they might be rushing you and that, but at the end of the day, you had quite an extensive amateur background. So someone might look at you as 1-0. Well, I don't look at it that way. I look at, you know, nearly a seasoned martial artist at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and the thing is, like especially fighting around the UK and Irish circuit, like it's basically semi-pro. You know what I mean? Like, there's no shin pads, no rash guards, none of that stuff. So it's like the only thing you're missing is the elbows and stuff like that. But like that's and 5-minute rounds. But like that's there are little small adjustments that you can work on. But like I've been training as a pro since basically I walked in the door. That's kind of how Chris conducts business. Everybody should be trained as a pro, even if you're an amateur, and kind of live up to kind of his expectations. And his expectations are kind of you go in there, you work hard and you perform, and that's it really. So I consider myself, I don't consider myself as a 1-0 pro anyway, because if the pandemic hadn't happened, I would have been 4 or 5-0 by now at this point. So I'm literally just looking to get the toughest fights, and like by the time I want to be fighting for a belt maybe for my 4th or 5th fight, coming close to that, and I think I'll probably get to my 4th or 5th fight by like September, October next year, and hopefully finish off the year then with the 4-0 next year and with the belt.
Yeah, definitely. I think I've already like looked at the sort of the bantamweights and went, right, who can we get Taka in there for a title shot with? And
Yeah,
there's actually a fella, Shannon Van Tonder, I think.
yeah.
I
Van
don't know if
Thunder,
you've seen him
he's solid.
before.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
I was like, that's one I want to see down the line. I think he's
yeah,
3-0 at the moment, and he's in your weight class. So I was like, right, there's one that I'm looking out for, because I was trying to have a look across the EFC's roster to be like, right, if Taka's in the EFC, Energized are in the EFC, so we have to see what's going down, and we have to start
no
scouting
matter
these
what
guys out.
promotion,
exactly.
no matter what the
Yeah.
promotion, even UAE Warriors were just like,
Yeah,
very true,
100%.
Rob, very true.
Because John
Nah,
Mitchell was
but
on
that
there
was
the other day, and Baz was like, "Who can John Mitchell fight next?" And I was like, "Well, leave it with me, and I'll have a look at the roster and I'll see." But Tonder looks like a good opponent down the line.
Yeah, Van Tonder looks solid. I think he's actually fighting a featherweight at the minute, but he looks solid in his last 2 fights. I think he's very good grappling. Looks solid all around. But yeah, like I'm here to fight the toughest guys, and like there's another fella, Connor Salmon or something like that. I don't know if I'm getting that fella's name right or wrong, but like it looks like Salmon or Simon. I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. But yeah, he looks pretty tidy enough. So have my eye out on him, and like there is good competition there. That can definitely give me a test. But like that's the game I'm in. I'm looking to come in here and fight the best of the best.
And Taka, last time you obviously had to go over to Africa to fight. Was any of the travel or anything like that, did that become an issue with the weight cut or anything, or do you think this time you'll even nail it even more because you've already done it once before?
Yeah, I think yeah, it's more of an adjustment period really. Like it's like everything. Like the first time is kind of gonna be touch and go, kind of figuring out which way works and which way doesn't work. But for this one, I kind of have a little bit more of a game plan in terms of like with the amount of weight on the cut and like on the flight over, because I think you lose a good few couple of liters of water per hour you're on the flight. So I think I flew 15 hours altogether. So like my weight was actually quite low at the beginning of the fight week, so which is good at the time, but at the same time I kind of like being a little bit heavier, kind of like holding a little bit more weight. So this time I'm just gonna eat a little bit more, which is easy to do. So yeah. And then in terms of like being over there, like I'm going to be a lot more familiar with the hotel, the setup, the people that work there, and it's just going to be a lot more comfortable and more familiar for me. So like I'm looking forward to kind of just getting back in there and just being more calmer. Like there's a lot kind of riding on the last fight, like it's the first one, plus all the stuff with the media and plus the video, and like there's just everything was kind of happening all at once. But this time I'm kind of more prepared mentally and kind of have it all broken down for myself a lot more.
Well, I'll tell you this, you couldn't tell that you were in any way nervous from absolutely nailing it at the press conference. Like, taking people's names at the press conference.
Absolutely nailed it. Like,
and then the walkout, Chris Fields dancing. I didn't think I'd ever see that in my entire life.
The question is, who's the better dancer, Chris Fields or Carl Pender? That's the biggest question.
No, the joke is like Carl was actually a bit shy, and Carl didn't want to throw in all of it into his hips and whatnot. So Carl was kind of holding back a little bit. So hopefully with this one now, we get the hips loose from a little bit more. But Fields nailed it as always. I'm actually happy that we finally have a video of it now.
Yeah, you can get all the behind the scenes stuff on Taka's Instagram on at Taka Mhandu as well. So there we go, Taka, not to be missed. And then let us know who's the better dancer, Fieldsy or Carl Pender. This is brilliant.
I can't wait for the next fight. I feel like it's going to be the
Groovy.
second coming of Israel Adesanya. Do you remember the breakdancing he did before his title fight?
Yeah,
choreographed.
Yeah, that was over in Marvel Stadium, wasn't it? I always think of Avenger Stadium or Marvel Stadium. Over in Australia,
yeah. Robert Whittaker fight.
Yeah, so like that's what Fieldsy and Pender have to live up to. You'll have to show them that dance and get them to nail it. Get practice on TikTok.
Chris, I can't even imagine Chris wanting to do a TikTok. My God, he's so big and so awkward that like I need to make that happen. I need to get Fields in a TikTok.
Yeah, that's why obviously for the people listening on Spotify, you can't miss Mhandu versus Huende on EFC 90 on Saturday, November 6th. We'll be promoting it like normal. But before we get into like all the action of UFC 267, Taka, first of all, can you tell people exactly how they can watch it? And also, is there any other fights with Team KF that people have to look out for as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So how we can watch the fight? So it's gonna be on EFCworldwide.tv. And we're currently in the middle of trying to work out a deal with Channel 7 on Sky so we can be aired on that, because they air some African programs and stuff like that. So we're trying to get a deal sorted with them. So hopefully we can make that happen. And hopefully, I don't know if it's meant to say that or not, but like it's said now, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, so EFCworldwide.tv, November 6th, and I think it'll be on around 4 o'clock UK time. Or the show starts around 4 o'clock UK time. I'll confirm that with everybody later on. And then the lads to watch that are coming up. And basically everyone really, like the amateur guys that are coming through now are very exciting. Everyone's looking sharp, you know. There's been a lot of fights happening over the last couple of months. So everyone's camps is constantly trickling into each other. So everyone's constantly down helping each other and getting better. So obviously, of course, Armran's won the big one on UAE this weekend. This Thursday, actually, I think. Yeah, in 2 days' time.
Thursday.
So Armran now. And of course, my fight's one to be watching as well. And then the lads will be on Euro. And Cage Conflict is going to be a big show as well. So fair play to the FAO lads representing and doing Irish MMA well and putting on good shows. So that's definitely a show to look out for.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Amram fight, especially back down at welterweight where I think he performs better. And then, yeah, like, you know, the Shelley Burrows, Conrad, Camille, and Benzo. Shout out Benzo. You and him are tight as anything, aren't you? And and all the Team KF lads, you know what I mean? They seriously are a hot gym that you have to keep your eye on. And I'm looking forward to seeing those boys compete and do their damn thing. One last question before we do jump into UFC 267. Obviously, Fields over in Abu Dhabi, getting his best living his best life over there with Omran. Who's holding down the fourth at Team KF at the moment?
So like obviously Tom is there, but like the MMA sessions with like we've done enough work in the gym over the last couple of years to kind of know what we want to do. So like you kind of, this is literally just a mutual thing. The lads we know what time we're set, what time we're training at, and what we're doing each day, because Chris kind of had a schedule done out for us from months ago. So we're just kind of following that and kind of recording sessions from and kind of holding it down and keeping the work rate high.
Yeah, that's it. You have to keep that champion mindset.
Definitely.
Yeah, so if you are new to the show, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and definitely follow Taka on his journey, because you're making serious waves over there with the videos, with everything. It's just it's great to see. It's great, really, really great to see.
More CTV on EFTV.
Yeah, that's the one. That is the one.
There we go. Right, so everyone tune in. Thanks a million. This weekend it is UFC 267. It's back on Fight On this Saturday, October 30th. So, like, because there is a few main events that we definitely have to check out. We also thought it was a great idea as well, Taka, to discuss the bantamweight title as well. But we're going to start at the very, very top, Roscoe, aren't we?
Yeah, we are indeed. We have Mystic Tak in here for a few predictions.
Yeah, so we'll start at the very, very top, Roscoe. For the light heavyweight title, Jan Blachowicz is taking on Glover Teixeira. And this one, Ross, we're going to start at that. But like, what do you expect from these two, the two big dogs in the light heavyweight division?
Well, I think it's going to be very evident that Glover Teixeira is going to try his very, very best to get this to the ground. Glover Teixeira on the ground from the top position is very hard to stop. And I think Jan Blachowicz is going to want to keep this on the feet. He showed an unbelievable game against Israel Adesanya. He showed he has that vicious Polish power against Dominic Reyes. Obviously, Glover was unbelievable in his run. I think, you know, he was allowed out of the retirement home this week to come over to Fight Island to get this fight.
You love saying that, man. You love saying that.
But it's an unbelievable story for both these guys. Both these guys were probably written off at one stage and are now fighting for the title. It's going to be a brilliant fight, but I do sort of feel like Jan's going to get the job done inside too. I think he'll be able to knock Teixeira out. I don't think his chin is quite what it used to be, but if there's ever a man not to doubt at this stage of their career, it's probably Glover Teixeira.
Taka, what about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I kind of agree with most of the stuff you said there. Like, Teixeira is very tough. Like, and he's been around the wall, so like I don't know if that bit of mileage on his body is going to do him any favors against Jan. Especially the fact that Jan's kind of hitting the stride. He has his confidence down. He knows what he can do, and he knows what he does well. So like I think I'll be going for Blachowicz more on this fight. But obviously, like you said, Teixeira is a tough guy. Like, he's a veteran, and like, he can never count him out because he's so crafty. And the fact that, like, at his age, he managed to get him to rack himself enough wins to get himself a title shot kind of goes to show, like, he's still there and he's still dangerous.
Yeah, Baz, what's your take on it?
Yeah, like, obviously we're gonna have to stick with our European counterpart, Jan Blachowicz. Even though Glover, it's great to see that he did get the title shot he fully deserves. But as Taka just alluded to there, like, Jan is on a freight train right now, and I'm gonna have to back the Polish power.
You better believe it.
Yeah, so we're going to get into the co-main event, the bantamweight interim title bout between Piotr Jan and Corey Sandhagen. Taka Mhandu, this is your division, bud. So, like, tell us exactly what you think of these two lads.
These two boys were solid, yeah. Like, I've been watching Jan for a long time, and Sandhagen kind of recently got on my radar. But Jan's boxing's crisp. His takedowns are unreal. He seems like he has solid enough jiu-jitsu and top pressure and stuff. So like he's very, very good. But I think Sandhagen mixes up a lot better, and he's a lot longer than Jan. I thought Sandhagen won the fight against TJ, to be honest with you. But so like I'm backing Sandhagen for this one, and like I think he's too long. He's very versatile. But the fact that Jan is constantly moving forward and he's constantly like he's in your face a lot, I think that's going to play into Jan's favor if he goes later into the rounds. But as of now, I think Sandhagen can do it. I like Sandhagen for this one. What do you guys think?
Baz, do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go?
I'll go first. It's just I love Piotr Jan. Like, I absolutely love him. And like, bearing in mind, John Boy is probably listening now, Ross. But who's Piotr Jan's striking coach? Like, he was Irish, he's from Donegal. Great story. But like, Piotr Jan is just, I think, is unreal. And then obviously all the stuff happened with Aljamain Sterling, with the controversy, and then he sort of like went back down on the ground, and everyone went nuts saying he quit. And all, like, I mean, this is the world of MMA, you know. I mean, it's pure entertainment. But like, I do like Corey Sandhagen, but there's something about Piotr Jan. He was just one of my favorite. Like, he's just a pure bulldog in there, and the way he's trying to speak a bit out, trying to get better at the English language for our good man John Boy. I have to go Piotr Jan. Purely biased as well. Ross.
Yeah, I think this is probably the best fight on the card on the night. I think like these are two of the most elite fighters the UFC has to offer. Piotr Jan, as Taka alluded to, his boxing so crisp. We saw his takedowns against Aljamain Sterling. The trips he implemented in that fight were absolutely insane. Corey Sandhagen, he's in the fight for the whole 25 minutes. His striking is very explosive. We saw that flying knee against Frankie Edgar. We saw him go toe-to-toe with the former champ TJ Dillashaw for 25 minutes, an absolute barn burner. It has all the makings for pure fireworks, the fight does. But I think I'm going to go Piotr Jan. I just think he is slightly better at the takedowns. So therefore, I think he'll be able to take Corey Sandhagen down if he's not having his way on the feet. Or who knows, he might actually decide to take the fight to the ground for the first couple of rounds, wear Sandhagen down, and then compete on the feet. But I don't know. After watching Piotr Jan fight Jose Aldo, I just think he's a stone cold killer.
Yeah.
This could be would this be a pick 'em in the end? Would this be very close?
Oh yeah, I think the line on this when it comes to the betting odds be very close.
Yeah,
and like myself and Ross tend to be wrong a lot, so like, I mean, yeah, like Taka will take this one.
Guys, I'm not joking. Every single time I try to call a fight or try to say something, because the lads are always asking me for bets, it always goes the opposite way. Like anything I say while we're doing this, everyone just deal with the opposite thing to what I say. Definitely,
it's like fancy football, you know.
Yeah,
definitely.
Okay. What like one of the other fights that people have to look out for as well is Islam Makhachev taking on Dan Hooker in the lightweight division. Ross, like, Islam Makhachev is like coming up the rankings very, very fast, and like a lot of people are talking about him. What is it about Islam Makhachev that people have to look out for this weekend?
Well, I think it's probably the high praise that Javier Mendez has put on one of his pupils, that he's the best wrestler in the gym, including Khabib Nurmagomedov. And when people hear someone's grappling is better than Khabib, you know what I mean? Like, that gets people worried. And I think Islam's biggest problem is that a lot of people turn him down as an opponent. Some of the criticism I've heard coming into this fight is, you know, none of his wins are over ranked opponents. It's not exactly his fault. 2 of his last 3 opponents actually have been ranked, but he's knocked them out of the rankings. So he is an absolute force to be reckoned with, and he's fighting the very gritty Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker obviously coming off a win against Nate Hasprakat. For those who don't know, he's the Kelvin Gastelum looking fella. So like, you know what I mean? No messing there. Like, Dan Hooker came over, I think, arrived on Thursday, made weight Friday, and then fought on Saturday. He's a bad mofo. But I don't know. I just fancy Islam Makhachev in this. I just feel like he'll have good enough grappling for 15 minutes to get the job done. If it was a 25-minute fight, I might lean towards Dan Hooker. He's been in more 25-minute fights, and I don't know if Islam will be able to wrestle him for that 25 minutes straight, because that pace is very grueling. But over 15 minutes, I fancy Islam Makhachev.
Taka?
Yeah, I see. Like I like Dan Hooker a lot. See, that's the problem. Like I hate betting against Dan, but Islam is an unstoppable force at the minute, and like Dan's a good test for him. And I think like after Dan's last performance, he showed a lot of grappling improvements in that area because he's usually kind of just getting kind of banging and kind of getting in the pocket a lot. But I think Islam takes him down, controls him for 15 minutes, and like I know Dan's very springy, but like that kind of stall wears on you a lot, especially if you're trying to, especially if the first round doesn't go your way and you're trying to get the points back. Like there's a lot of things that can go wrong in terms of you trying to get that for you in terms of you trying to get that fight back going to your way. Like if Dan starts bombing, starts trying to clip him with something, then like that's going to be an opener for Islam to take him down. But I think if Dan can turn that knee, that's like I might put money on Dan Hooker second round knee to the face knockout. I really don't think that he's very very capable of that. But my gut's telling me Islam.
Yeah, I think that's always the problem when you fight such a good wrestler that like you might get taken down with 4 minutes left to go in the round, and like against Islam, you're probably not getting back up, and like that's a rough place to be for 4 minutes straight.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Islam as well, just in case he hears how I went against him. You know, I mean, I don't want that to happen. but then, like one of the fights that I'm actually the most looking forward to on the weekend is the return of Kazmat Chimaev. He's taking on Li Jingliang in the welterweight division. Like lads, like let's not mess around here. Like Kazmat's one of the scariest dudes on the roster. He's one of the most hyped about people. Then unfortunately he had to come off a few cards because of COVID. He announced he was retiring, and now Boers is back. Roscoe.
Yeah, he is. I think Kazmat's record is something like 168 strikes to like 6. He is an absolute frightening concept to have to stand across.
Sweden's own.
Yeah, Sweden's own, straight out of Chechnya. He is an absolute animal. It's a bit like Taka Mhandu, Zimbabwe's own, straight out of Dublin, Ireland.
Yeah, exactly.
But he is an absolute force to be reckoned with. Obviously Li Jingliang is he's coming off a win against Santiago Ponzinibbio, knockout win in the first round, so he's got power in his hand. But can he stop that takedown against Kazmat? And also he's shown to have that power up at middleweight as well, so I think Kazmat's going to go in there, probably take him down, probably maul him on, I'd say, second round TKO or submission, whichever presents itself. I think that's the type of pressure he applies. It's a bit like with Islam, the amount of pressure these guys apply with the wrestling, it's very hard to defend against it. You have to be the very most upper echelon guy to be able to stop that pressure.
Yeah, Taka, when were you first introduced to Kazmat, and what did you think?
Yeah, I was introduced to Kazmat about, I think, around the same time as everyone else. And then when he first exploded onto the scene, I was like, geez, this guy is an animal. I think he fought like 1 week and he fought the next week or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, he fought
3 or 4 days later.
He fought John Phillips, and then like 10 days later he fought Reese McKee, and then like 3 weeks later he fought Gerald Mearshart.
Mearshart. Yeah. I remember watching this fight. I think it was on his fight with Reese. I kind of took notice of him because obviously not Reese from the Irish circuit and stuff like that, and getting the call up, so I was happy for him. But that guy is an absolute wrecking ball. But that is literally he's like, I think I could have fought one of the lads that he trains with. You know the fella that fought Glenn McVeigh, actually, man, Belil.
I was actually thinking Mohamed Mikayev, but yeah, no, I know the fella who
So like, they all train the same gym. So like that's and after kind of hearing Hamza, I looked at your man and knew trained to him. So I was like, well, that's crazy. But like, and then I ended up looking back on all his older fights, and yeah, I don't really see him kind of taking any real damage until he gets into top 10, top five people in the division.
I'm sort of like waiting for him just to rack up enough wins to fight Usman, because like that's a fight I'd love to see.
Yeah, for people watching, like, do not make Kazmat Chimaev. Like, he's everything you'd look for in a Bond villain as well, which is perfect for once he retires. But like,
exactly.
So like we're all aboard the Kazmat train there. Excuse the pun. But there's a couple other fights in the card. We'll just go through quickly. Alexander Volkov's taking on Marcin Tybura in the heavyweight division. Ross, what do you expect from here?
Yeah, well, I actually expect Volkov to win this. I think he'll use that length. He's about 6'7", and I think he'll just keep him at a distance. However, Tybura's coming on a 5-fight win streak, which is no mean feat in the heavyweight division. Volkov's coming off a loss to the interim heavyweight champion. Cyril Gane. But I think Volkov is actually the better of the two, and I think he'll be able to sort of keep him at length and use those long limbs to keep him there. Taka, you're a man who's used to using that reach advantage. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think I have Volkov for this one. I think in the fight against Lewis, like he was doing well, he's using jab and stuff like that, but like with Lewis, it only takes one punch, and he's kind of unfortunate, but he's winning that fight, and I think that's going to be kind of a similar situation where he's just jabbing him for the fight and picking him apart, using his reach, and then especially the fact that it's a 3-round fight, I think it's going to favour Volkov definitely.
Yeah, I think it will actually reach the judges' scorecards as well. You know that two lads are quite good at going the distance for heavyweights, but one that won't reach the distance. Baz, give us one that won't reach the distance.
One that won't reach. Volkan Ozdemir against Magomed Ankalaev.
Oh, absolutely. I think this one doesn't make it out the first 5 minutes. Obviously, Ankalaev beat Ion Kutibala twice in a row, and like that was very, very impressive. And Ozdemir is not called no time for nothing. So I think this one's going to go inside the first round. I like Ankalaev. I think he's a real force to be reckoned with in that light heavyweight division. I think, name recognition, he's probably not up there with the other guys yet, but skill wise, I think he's right up there. He has like spinning wheel kicks and everything in his arsenal, and I think he definitely one to keep an eye out for. And if you are looking to put a few euros down, he's one for me.
Yeah, then also another fight you have to look out for the European people. Makwan Amir Khan, he's taking on Leron Murphy as well in the featherweight division. So, Taka, before we wrap things up on the 267 card, is there anything like in particular you're really looking forward to? Like anything you want to let the
give us your fight of the night there.
Give us a fight of the night.
My fight of the night for 267. I think that fight of the night could be. Let me think about this one. I think if Ankalaev and who was he fighting again? Sorry,
Volkan Ozdemir.
Volkan Ozdemir, sorry, yeah, that's the one. I think if them two boys can't knock each other out, we're in for a fight tonight. And like I think because Ozdemir is like he's real slow pacing, coming, but like when he goes, and I think he's gonna catch Ankalaev when he's not expecting a couple of times. And I think that's gonna be nice back and forth. And also Leron Murphy and Makwan, yeah, I had his because I was looking through the topology, and I have Makwan's topology picture just in my head because. Like if you go on his apology page, it's just a picture of him with a lot of girls. So I couldn't remember his name, but I just remember the picture of him with a lot of girls. But yeah, him and Leron is going to be a good fight. I think Makwan's on a 2-fight scale at the minute, and he needs to win this one. So I think he's going to be coming in here with a bit of a fire in his belly because he knows that if he loses this one, then he's out. And Leron's he's been on a hot streak. He's been killing everybody. So I think he wants to continue that on. And I think them two could very well be fighting tonight as well. I think that's a recipe to be a banger.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Makwan Amir Khan holds the record in the featherweight division for the fastest ever win. I think he holds a knockout in something like 8 seconds, I think it was. Andy Ogle, I think it was, if I'm not correct. So, yeah, I think that's definitely going to be one to look out for as well, especially for a bit of European interest. But for me, fight of the night, I think it's your co-main event, one way or the other. Corey Sandhagen versus Piotr Jan. Like, it doesn't actually get much more high level than that.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just looking forward to seeing the return of Kazman. Like this one, like seeing people like this fight is just like Jesus, unmissable TV. I swear to God.
Basma's already given out the performance bonus here. He is.
I love that this way. We're fans at the end of the day. We're doing this just to promote the MMA world. Like, I mean, that's really what it is. Right?
Definitely.
But that like sort of covers everything. Taka, thanks so much for coming on the show. We're obviously going to give you the last word, and also for the people listening as well, don't miss Taka Mhandu versus Huande on EFC 90 on Saturday, November 6th. That is next weekend. Taka, take it.
I just want to say to everyone, just anyone that's actually made it this far into the video or to the podcast, thank you very much for listening, and hopefully tune in for the fight because it's going to be an absolute banger. I promise you, this is going to be my best fight to date, and I'm coming for the finish like every time. And if I don't get to finish, you're going to be in for a treat anyway. You're going to be in for a good fight.
Yeah, and if his picks are terrible, make sure to let Taka know that as well. you for ahead, but.
Guys, thanks a million for watching. Absolute legend as always. If you want to support the page, give it a like, share it, subscribe, leave a comment below, letting us know who you think's going to win at UFC 267, who's going to the retirement home after the light heavyweight main event, and who's going home with that 13 pounds of gold. Guys, thanks a million, and as always, stay energized.
Energized, show up the Irish. Been sussing you guys a couple of times. I've seen a couple of clips. I think you done some interviews with Dylan Moran and that I saw. So keep going, keep up the good work, guys.